Welcome. This is actually the 12th event that this little group of us under the name of Finding Petroleum has run. This one on carbon capture and storage. As we go through here, just looking at these slides, there will be some housekeeping rules. One of the most frequently ignored is the request to turn off your mobile phones, or at least put them on vibrate or silent or something like that. So if the one of you who hasn't done that could remember to do it now, that would be great. Obviously there's no smoking inside. If there is a fire alarm today, it's not going to be a drill, it's going to be the real thing. There are 3 emergency exits signalled on the walls here, one there, one at that back door and one at that door, and the signs to follow around the building are pretty clear. They lead us in the end to assemble in the courtyard in front of the Royal Academy and await further instructions. As I say, no test is planned, so if the alarm goes off, it's the real thing, or somebody smoking in the toilet perhaps. Okay. We actually have a fairly tight program this morning. I only realised on the way in here that most times we get 5 speakers through by about 1 o'clock, and today we have 6 to get through by about 1:15. So if presenters could make a really extra special effort to keep the time, and then we'll keep the time overall, and I can allow some time for discussion. The other thing to say is, as has become our tradition, we do have a raffle draw prize at the end at about 1:15. Today we're giving away 3 of these hard drive thingies, for want of a better description. 160 gigabyte storage facility. Great thing to either use for yourself, because it will take and download, you can store on there all the photographs and music that you will ever need in your life, I would think. Or whatever else you choose to do with it. So don't throw away the little ticket that you will find on the upper left-hand corner of your agenda. And the scrupulously fair draw will be undertaken by me at about 1:15. By that I mean I and Adam and Carl have no chance of winning anything. Now, for us, in our 11 previous events, we've kept pretty well to mainstream oil and gas industry topics. What's happening in Iraq, shale gas, deep water exploration, etc. Lots on geophysics and seismic, and glad to say that our sessions have proved pretty popular. This one is a slight step to one side in that we're talking about carbon capture and storage, and interesting commentary on the economics of carbon capture and storage, which will come in a minute. But actually we've found people very willing to speak, and as you'll see, we have almost a full house, so very willing to show up and listen. It's a topic on which I, and I suspect many other people in the industry, have only superficial understanding at the moment, and it seems to me that we need to get beyond that. My observations coming into this are as follows, and in the time-honoured manner of people who've had a speaking education from in BP, I've got 4 things to say. It seems to me that whereas the technologies for carbon capture are still under development and largely still to be proved at scale, those for carbon storage are ones that we in the oil and gas industry understand pretty well, and know how to use, have tried and tested them, and so on. I as a skeptic, wonder where is the clear evidence for a business model for carbon capture and storage which makes sense and is robust? Have we seen one? And just a small sort of outline of that, or cameo on that, in the response that people gave to presenting here, which was 100%, and I suppose I talked to a dozen or more people who are willing to present. 100% said, we can't possibly pay to present on carbon capture and storage because, don't you know, there's no money in it at all. And in fact, the only reason we can run this forum today is because of the generosity of our sponsors, who are BP, Opus Executive, Bernstein Research, and UI's Exploration. But, you know, an interesting comment, I think. I think having said that the technologies are, for carbon storage now, are broadly things that we understand from the oil and gas industry, I think it behooves us to ask whether there are any special environmental issues connected with the transportation and subsurface containment and then long-term monitoring of stored carbon dioxide. I think that's an interesting question. And it leads sort of to the fourth point, I think, which is we in the oil and gas industry may feel very secure about the technologies that we will deploy or are about to deploy. But does the public at large have the same feeling of security? And if you look at what's happening in the United States at the moment, not just with the Gulf of Mexico disaster, but significantly less reported in the UK press around the extraction of shale gas in northeast US, where the states are beginning to react because the public is reacting and raising all sorts of very profound environmental concerns. So there's a question, I think, probably in everybody's mind, and mine least of all, of course, but what does the public make of all this? And a question for you, really, which is, would you want a carbon dioxide storage facility under your house or under your football field, or for that matter under your town, wherever you live? And I think those questions are still to be answered. So our agenda today, rather than digging into, you know, traditional oil and gas technology, is constructed to examine some of those issues. And we're going to begin with our friends from Bernstein Research, and Oz Clint is going to reflect to open the session for us on whether anybody can actually build a business out of CCS. Oz, over to you.